is the idea of NoFap. Now, if you guys have seen my podcast before, you've probably heard me talk a little bit about this, especially in the more recent ones, like the ones in August that I did with Dakota, and then Michaela, and then Mitch. Those are the last three that I did, and I think in all three of those, or maybe two out of three, I talked about NoFap, the idea of NoFap. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to explain my journey with it, where I'm at, what I've learned, how I feel moving forward. There's a lot of videos out on YouTube that talk about this subject matter, and that's one of the ways that I discovered NoFap. I already kind of knew what it was about, but I hadn't deeply done my own research to really, I guess, get a concrete understanding of all the details behind it and why people decide to do it. I mean, it's obviously for men for the most part. I don't think there is a NoFap for women. I could be wrong. But yeah, so you'll see a lot of videos on YouTube talking about like the 30-day benefits, the 60-day benefits, the 90-day benefits, those sort of things once you have semen retention for that long. I'm not going to really focus on that because I still haven't even gone 30 days without it myself. So I don't think I'm really qualified to talk about that, but I just want to talk about the benefits that I've seen in the short time that I've been doing it, between the two times that I've fallen down, or since I've given in, I've relapsed. So yeah, that's mainly what I'm going to be talking about. But anyways, let's get started. So for those of you who don't know what NoFap is, the main premise behind it is that as a guy, you are abstaining from watching porn or masturbating. And, with porn being such a commodity, an item that is thrown in young men's face at such a young age, I mean, I think it's almost unavoidable growing up in this society. Like, I don't remember the first time that I looked at porn. It was very young, though. I mean, I was an adolescent, so I would have had to have been in high school, somewhere around there, when I first started looking at porn. And although, like, I would never say that I was addicted to porn, I definitely, I think, abused it in some senses. And looking at, like, the clinical definition of an addiction would say that I was addicted to it because you would have these urges that you almost couldn't control and you would give in. But the whole idea of NoFap is to abstain from watching porn, masturbating, because even though, like, I get it, as guys we need that release, it's not really the natural release. And I think it's caused a lot of men to sort of not really seek out a relationship with an actual woman, an actual physical human being. Instead, they rely on this sort of stimulation that gets them off. And I don't know, I came across all these videos on YouTube, and then even, people like Jordan Peterson talking about how by, maybe what you're doing with porn is like, it's extremely gratifying in the short term. You get that release, that urge that you want to give off, but it's not really helping you in the medium to long term, saying like, oh, maybe, you're giving in to temptations too much. You're not disciplined. You're not hardworking. You're not really seeking out new friendships, new relationships in your personal life. You're not really working towards bigger goals or aspirations that you want to develop, career ideas. And so it really started to formulate in my head, because I've been on this like self-improvement kick, self-improvement journey for a while now. And every month I'm trying to think of different things I can do to help myself, like a new challenge to incorporate in my life that might bring about some benefits or change me in a positive direction. So I was like, dude, I'm going to try this. I'm going to see what happens. I mean, it could only be good, right? Like, you could only see benefits. And even if it doesn't work out, if it's hard, like, I may learn some things, there may be some more insight to gather from that experience. So I started doing it. I kind of started weaning myself off of it off of porn, whatever you want to say. Again, I never categorized myself as being addicted to porn, but like, it'd be every 4 days, and that was the thing that I was going to. And so yeah, like at the end of July, I started weaning myself off. I went like 9 days or something like that. And then I started like I had like a stressful event in my life, and that I realized that stress tended to make me want to go to porn as a release of that stress. Yeah, so I started weaning myself off, and then I started August with the idea of doing a whole month of NoFap. And although like in the thought of starting it, I think I was in the right direction. By day 15, I went 15 days, and then I gave in, I relapsed, and I realized that, okay, like I was on the right path. I had the right decision making in saying that I wanted to start this thing to improve my life, but I hadn't realized that, when you hold in, your seed, this thing that you're trying to, essentially, again, energy you're trying to get out of your body, if you just store that up for 15 days or whatever it may be, and you have no way of releasing it, you're going to pretty much drive yourself crazy. And so then again, I had another stressful event 15 days in, and then that's when I kind of like gave in. I relapsed. But it was important because it taught me lessons, and then I started integrating more things into my life. So I started doing meditation every day, and I've still been working with that. I've been doing that, I don't know, consistently for like a month, and like each week I bump up the minutes that I spend with meditating. And then I started taking cold showers, because cold showers kind of repeated the same mantra that I was trying to learn from NoFap about discipline and controlling your urges. And so when you hop into a cold shower, the idea is that, it's teaching you that mind over matter thing. It's really building up mental strength for you, because you never get used to the cold water. Like it's piercing like nails, like just razor blade, whatever you want to call it. It's on your skin. Each and every time you jump in that cold shower, you don't want to do it. But then as you've built up this repetition, for however long of continuing to do it, you see that your mental strength starts to pick up in all these other aspects and areas of your life, where you become comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so I didn't look at relapsing 15 days through as failure. More or less, I looked at it as a lesson in me trying again. And I pulled myself back together and said, okay, you're going to get back up. You're going to jump back on the horse, and you're going to keep going. And so then I went 24 days. I went, it was like August 16th or something like that. And then I went into September. I went 24 days, and then I relapsed again. And again, I think there was more lessons that I had to learn through a second time of failure. Is that, I had gotten better about placing my energy, all this excess energy that I was getting from abstaining from porn, because, testosterone is starting to build up in your system. So you have all this energy now that you have to find ways to place throughout your day. And yeah, I realized by the second time of relapsing that what I was doing is I was sort of like, I was counting each and every day, like as a tally mark. Every time I would abstain for a day, I'd be like, oh, I'm at day 20. Oh, I'm at day 21. And I realized that I was kind of setting myself up for failure in some way, because I was so hyper fixated on not doing the thing. Like, oh, hey, I'm at this day, blah, 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 blah. But it was going to inevitably lead me up to failure, because I was so focused on not doing it that at some point I was going to give in, because that's where all my focus was. So now, pretty much I would say in my third solid attempt of NoFap, not trying to really put a day mark on it, I'm trying to forget where I'm at each day. And it's really hard, because to the right of me, I have two calendars, and I've said, this month is NoFap and meditation. Like, I want to do meditation every day. I'm trying to average 20 minutes a day with meditation, and then I'm doing NoFap. but every time I make a check mark, every day that goes by and I make a check mark, I'm really just not even counting anymore. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of kind of why I got into it, kind of like the path that I've been on with it. And now I'm going to talk about the benefits. So, there's a lot of perceived benefits that you're supposed to get with NoFap. One, they talk about confidence. Now, my confidence, I've always been an anxious person, so that was very enticing to me when watching these videos saying that, your confidence is going to increase by not giving in to these things. When you beat an addiction, I think that's fuel to the fire for anybody. So maybe that's why the confidence hasn't necessarily come to me yet. It's been fluctuating in and out. I would say I felt pretty confident like the first week on that 15-day mark when I started. But I think everybody, when they start a new challenge and they're really excited about it, they tell all their friends, it's like the only thing that's on their mind that, when you get like 7 days from abstaining on your first go around, you're going to feel pretty confident about that. That's pretty much to be expected at that point. But it didn't transfer over. It didn't stay with me for the entire 15 days. It didn't stay with me for the entire 24. So confidence on NoFap for me personally has come in and out. There's times where I saw it, and then there's times where it kind of evaporated and I lost it. But I would say overall, I've been a little bit more confident in myself. Like the one thing I've noticed is that in my classes on campus at Simpson here in Indianola, I've spoken up more, like I've talked more when called upon or just tried to answer questions that the professor was proposing. That's something that I would have never done in years prior at college. Like I've always been a quiet, well, it's weird. Like I say quiet, timid sort of guy, but I love conversations. I'm an extrovert. So it's really this interesting, I don't know, parallel that doesn't really make sense. But yeah, so the confidence I would say is the shaky thing. Now I'm hoping that the longer that I stick with this in my third attempt, as I've learned some things to correct myself moving forward, the confidence will probably come at some point. But the second benefit I would say that I saw more of is energy and creativity. So those are kind of simultaneous with each other. And the whole idea, again, like guys that give into porn and masturbation on a rapid level, they're doing this every day. People that are probably at the higher end of an addiction, I wouldn't say I was there, but I definitely was addicted. You lose energy because the main component of what makes a guy feel like a man is keeping his seed within him. If you're always giving into pleasure, you're not going to feel very energetic. You're not going to feel confident. You're not going to feel charismatic. You're not going to feel creative because you're pretty much depleted of the resources that you need that help you fuel the fire. And so I would say that is one of the bigger ones. On my second attempt of NoFap, like in the day 24 region, I had a lot of energy. I had a lot of creative ideas that were coming to me specifically for my YouTube channel, business opportunities, things that I wanted to talk about, topics, ideas. Those were coming to me. Like I would literally be sitting in class, listening to the lecture, and boom, zoop, like zinc, instantly I'd have an idea for a business opportunity or for a YouTube video or for like something creative that I wanted to do, like filming footage out in scenery. Like that was all coming to me. So that was really exciting. And again, I said that, I kind of figured out I needed to manage this creativity. I needed to manage this energy that I now had access to. I felt a lot better. I felt better when I hopped out of bed in the morning. I will not say that I was depressed this entire time when I was beating off to porn or doing those sorts of things. But I could definitely see that I had a lack of energy and I wasn't feeling creative as much as I used to. Creativity has always been, I think, an advantage that I've had. It's kind of like a personality trait of mine. So those are two. And then the third one I could think of off the top of my head is discipline. Discipline's a big one, but it's hard to say that the discipline that I've received or I've built into my life is because of NoFap. NoFap is definitely part of it, but like I said, I've been doing meditation more, which helps keep you present. That's helped me not procrastinate as much. I've said, hey, dude, you need to get these things done now, especially homework, so then you can set yourself up on the weekend to relax a little bit or like watch some football or whatnot, just enjoy your time. And then I've taken cold showers, which I was talking about how that mental strength sort of gets built up within you. And it's very subtle at first. You don't really notice it. But I've been taking NoFap. I've been doing taking cold showers for probably about a month now, somewhere around a month, maybe a little bit longer. And I'm not, it's not like I do it every day, but I do it a lot. I do it enough. And I've seen my discipline increase a lot. Like, I've been doing homework. The first 2 weeks of class, I kind of was like slacking a little bit with my homework and getting it done right before the deadline. And I just hate that, man. I hate putting myself in that position to stress or like forget if you had an assignment or something and then turn it in late. And then these last 2 weeks, my discipline has really shot up. And I've been a person that's kind of always struggled with discipline. Like, I always get things done for the most part in time when they need to be done or when, items need to be turned in for submission. But growing up, I didn't have a whole lot of discipline. It just wasn't a part of my life. I never was really taught that. And, a society that is built upon instant gratification with social media, porn too, those are both very big avenues for instant gratification. Now that I've cut that out, now that I've been doing cold showers, dude, I've done homework on Friday nights the last 2 weeks and on Saturdays, and I never did that prior to in my college career, whether it was at DMAC, Simpson, or Iowa State. I never did that. So discipline, I would say, is the biggest one that has occurred to me. That's the most prevalent. Little things that I've noticed, like at the beginning of August when I started, I was a lot more attentive to music, and music started hitting me again. I don't know if it's because I started looking at, new music choices, like listening to new music instead of listening to the same library of songs that I've been listening to for years. It could have been that short little burst of confidence that I had that made me really resonate with the music that I was listening to, because I listened to a lot of rap songs, so there's a lot of braggadocio and flexing involved, and I think that sort of like, I kind of felt that in those first 14 days. I was like, yeah, man, I'm on this road and I'm improving and nobody's gonna stop me. And that's a great mentality to have, but I don't think it lasts. I think that, real, and I should preface, like, I'm about to say real progress. I've seen progress. I note that there's progress that's been made from NoFap, from these things that I've been doing, but I think real, attainable, noticeable progress will be made the longer that I stick with it, even after times of failure. So it's really just about building a foundation of good habits that you can rely on moving forward in the future. So yeah, I'm really excited for where I'm going with it. Like, I think that the benefits will only be more prevalent the longer that I stick with it. And I've learned so much along the way. So that's the cool thing. And that's why I started this, because I just wanted to take a chance and see what happens. So yeah, that's my journey. They also talk about things like, girl attraction on NoFap. Personally, I haven't experienced that. I don't know if that's a real thing. Sometimes I think it sounds hocus pocus, but definitely if you have more discipline, you have more confidence, you have more energy, more creativity, I could see how your interactions start to change around people, and maybe that's why girls would find you more attractive. That's something that I'm still waiting on. It's kind of hard. Still kind of living in a pandemic world where in class everybody's wearing masks, and you can't really tell if people are receptive to you or what you're saying. Like, I would definitely like to ask some girls for their numbers, but it just hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. I guess that's a result that's pending. We'll wait and see what happens. But yeah, I've loved NoFap so far, and it's been hard, man. It's been up and down, and I would say also, a lot of the videos on YouTube about NoFap highlight just mainly the benefits. There's some hard moments. I mean, those urges don't stop. And just like any person, your confidence wanes, it fluctuates. Like sometimes I'm really motivated to be posting content on YouTube, and then sometimes I just don't care, or I don't feel like I'm backing myself up on what I putting out there. It's like I have no confidence on the material that I'm putting out. So that's the important thing to talk about, as well as like if you're going to highlight the benefits, you also need to talk about what wasn't good. Like, dude, I've been discouraged often, early and often on this journey, but I'm still continuing to stick with it. So hopefully this video can help some other gentlemen out there, some men that are trying to find their way. I'm 23 years old. I'm trying to find inspiration. I'm trying to develop. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to figure things out. And I think this challenge is great for men, especially men my age, that were given porn at such a young age. Like any guy, any kid, any adolescent, whenever you started, any man is going to press that instant gratification button, because why not, man? It's like what you talked about with your friends. It was normalized. But what we failed to realize back then is that by consistently making those errors, and I won't even call porn an error, because sometimes I do think you need that release. And if you've kind of conquered NoFap and you've changed your life, maybe every once in a while you could come back to porn. But as kids, you know, I would say, again, I probably started when I was like 16, maybe even before that. So, you know, that's like 7, 8, 9 years of my life that I've been looking at porn. And those consistent little actions have shaped me who I am today. Now, I don't think I'm a terrible person. No. But I don't get outside of my comfort zone. I don't talk to enough girls. I don't put myself in that position to potentially get rejected. And I'm scared of it. I'm going to be honest. I am scared. You know, that's why I'm making this video. And that's partly why I also took above this challenge. Is like, I need to start seeking that out. Why would you not want that? So it's those consistent little actions over time that make up the bigger piece, and we got to break this thing down. So you're gonna fail when you start NoFap. You're gonna fail. It's inevitable. But if I can talk about my progress, where I've come from, you know, where I started, and hopefully that helps somebody else out, that it gives them a foundation to work with, that's awesome. I'm not trying to be a speaker of inspiration about NoFap, but I'm kind of passionate about this subject, and I'm passionate about self-development, and it's just a great topic to talk about, especially if it's going to help people. So anyways, that is my ideas, that is my journey, that is my start. This is the first video on NoFap. I might make more videos. I'm not entirely sure. I'm open to any ideas for my YouTube channel. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys soon.